I'm not gonna lie. This could be an absolute waste of your time.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
If it is, click off, go, leave, click off, all right? Just bounce. This could be a nothing burger, hot air. But I am not gonna lie to you, yo. Oh, it's so dumb, but maybe 6 seconds deep into opening 14 for One Piece, when we see Luffy walking as a silhouette, and then I remembered the picture of Nika and that silhouette of Luffy next to the bonfire with the wolves in Skypiea. I was like, wait, hold on. No, maybe, but hold on. The Nika vibes in that opening, literally the last opening of the pre-time skip, were strong. And my mind, the old noggin, started to rev. Wait, hold on, time out. The King engine started to beat. Hold on, wait a minute. Whoa. This could be reaching well past Mars, past the Kuiper Belt, going straight for Jupiter. Fair enough, I'll admit that. But I had to wonder, hey yo, are there maybe, possibly, potentially, any hints for Joy Boy and Nika and that kind of stuff in anime exclusive content, like in the openings?
Oh yeah.
So I had to find out more, and I decided to dive deep into One Piece opening 14. And so if you're still here, stick around for a little bit of a journey, I suppose, with One Piece opening 14 of all things. So the opening obviously has a core theme about being stuck in the dark and ultimately being moved forward when the light/dawn rises. It is centered around Luffy's loss of Ace, obviously, and him going through a depression as we go through the ASL flashback, and then find a way forward with Jinbei's help, of course, through that spiraling depression. And Luffy remembers he has his Nakama, he has his friends. That opening is arguably one of the best openings, if not the best opening for One Piece. I'll easily argue that. It's a very good one. The themes of light and darkness in One Piece are subtle, but very prevalent of the entire series. So think about, for example, the fisherman wishing to go to the surface, into the sun, into the light, and not be stuck 10 kilometers underwater. Or think about the citizens of Wano Country, and how Wano Country has been under the horrid rule of Kaido and Orochi for 20 years. The idea of people being stuck in the dark and then being brought to the forefront, being brought to the light, is synonymous with so many different arcs in One Piece. Whether it is Alabasta, whether it is Drum Island, whether it is Thriller Bark, or Dressrosa, there are so many arcs that are like this in One Piece, and then Luffy and his men wind up being the catalyst to really save this country from a very bleak situation, their darkness, and bring them into the light. Other characters like Momonosuke are also referred to usher in the dawn. The overarching themes of the light and dawn seem to also be synonymous with freedom, of course, but also smiles and happiness. Joy, if you would. Joy to the world.
Okay, that's enough.
Now, this transition of light to darkness is actually situated several times in the opening. When the opening starts off, we start off in the darkness, in Shibondi, with the Sun Eagle in darkness, and then we cut over to Zoro, who's training on Gloom Island, a very dark and dreary place with no sunlight. But then that segment ends off on Sanji, who's in Kamabaka, which is the complete reverse of Gloom Island, where it's a place full of life and light and all sorts of shenanigans. And I'm pretty sure a lot of male readers would actually want to be kept in the dark, but I digress. That's how Kamabaka rose. They can't be bargained with, they can't be reasoned with. That's just how Kamabaka be. And as a result, it's a very vibrant, very colorful place. Zoro symbolically does have ties to the moon and that kind of stuff, whereas Sanji has ties to the sun. And it's also interesting too, where the last leg of the opening, when Luffy is walking towards his crew, he's actually walking under the spot of a lighthouse. And it's actually aimed towards the direction of his crew and their smiles. And Shibone Archipelago, at the beginning, be kept in the dark. It's also interesting because there are some theories out there when it comes to resin, and resin being Luffy's new awakening ability, and how the hints for that were actually on Shibone Archipelago. Okay, so we'll find out sooner rather than later if it's actually true or not. But there have been a lot of hints that folks denote to resin being Luffy's awakening, and the major hints for that were on Shibone, but Shibone is kept in the dark in this opening, like it's hidden. And in an overall sense, that transition from dark to light is indicative of the world itself, because once they find the Straw Hats, once they find that big secret of the truth of the world, that will usher in the dawn for the world, you'd argue, after probably the Great Final War. And on top of that, it is indicative of Luffy's current condition right now, where he was defeated, killed by Kaido, lost that light, but with the awakening of his powers, has regained that light. Also, Ace pushing Luffy might be symbolic of the idea of the inherited will. Many folks believe that the inherited will is more of a spiritual thing, and that Luffy's Red Hawk is in some way tapping into the power that Ace once had. The same thing might also apply here for Law and his R room, his special room, where he takes loud, unruly mothers and just throws them in there when they just won't shut up. Law's kind of savage like that. But the inherited will is a very interesting concept here. The person who inherits that will kind of retains or gains some degree of power from that spirit directly. This is not personally something that I believe, but I can understand why people that read the series do believe this. And it's also in lockstep with the idea of the devil fruits in some way keeping a piece of the soul of the previous person that ate that fruit. So when Ace died, part of his soul was retained inside of the Mera Mera, which the folks refer to in chapter 792 after Sabo beats Jesus Burgess. Then he looks at his hand and he says, Ace here said that you deserve it. So that's also an idea as well in the series when it comes to like soul transmigration stuff. And with the devil fruits, it's kind of like a My Hero Academia one for all-ish, kind of. And so let's say in Luffy's case, if it's not actually Luffy, but rather it's Joy Boy, like Joy Boy's soul has taken over Luffy's body, then this is more like a Yu Yu Hakusho atavism of the Mazoku. Now we could try and go even deeper from here. Absolutely we can. And we could talk about, for the opening, Brook. Yes, yo ho ho ho, Brook. Because around 1 minute and 54 seconds in the opening, we do have that segment where we have all of the Straw Hat crew members and how they join the crew. And the last one is Brook's. And then in Brook's segment, we do see Luffy smile in the opening upside down. And of course, I'm not going to deny it, that upside down angle of Luffy in the opening did remind me of what we're getting in chapter 1043 when it comes to Luffy transforming and he's smiling upside down. Now, of course, it's not a direct one-to-one, but they're still both upside down smiles, which might denote to something. But also, Brook is the main man for Bink Sake. And in that song, there is a verse that might have alluded to Joy Boy's awakening and how it happened. The verse goes, and I quote, "Now comes the storm through the far-off sky. Now the waves are dancing, beat upon the drums. If you lose your nerve, this breath could be your last, but if you just hold on, the morning sun will rise." That is the primary quote that a lot of folks are referring to when it comes to Bink Sake, kind of alluding to Joy Boy. And the crazy part is, there's actually a similar verse in One Piece opening 14. And the verse goes, and I quote, "No matter what kind of trials lie ahead, nothing can stop my beating heart. There is only one place to go, fly to the light." There's also a secondary verse that says something similar as well in the same opening. "Tucked away a desire reaching out for that place, wherever that place is, inside your heart. Isn't it getting a little tight in there? Fly to the light." So, again, not one-to-ones, but both lines in the opening 14 and Bink Sake talk about someone's heartbeat. and how someone's heart beating, or lack thereof, because Luffy's heart probably did stop after Kaido's Thunderbell Bagua, but it's back again. My heart won't stop beating. It's back again, probably, because of his awakening, as he's smiling, Joy Boy, the dawn. Once again, the dawn in the sense of the morning sun will rise, or flying to the light. Nani? Again, this could all be smoke, but that got me thinking. Hold on, wait a minute. There's a similar lyric here that denotes to one's heartbeat, and then from there going into the light, or the sun will rise. There is no notation about the drum, of course. That's why it's not a one-to-one, but it's pretty damn close. I'm not gonna lie to you. And what's even more interesting is Brook's position in the Straw Hat lineup in the very beginning of the opening. Brook is third. Brook is third in the lineup, which is very unusual for a Straw Hat lineup. Most of the time, the Straw Hats are actually in ordered for when they actually join the crew, or in reverse order. But in Brook's case, he's number 3 here. And 3 in One Piece seems to be a fairly important number. After all, there are 3 ancient weapons. There are 3 devil fruit categories. There are 3 races of angel-like people on the ruins where NL was on the moon. Shondians, Bilkins, and Skypeans. And then also, there are 3 skulls on Blackbeard's flag, and Shanks has 3 scars over his eye. And from chapter 1000 and onward, on the rooftop, it also matches the number of times Luffy was defeated by Kaido. 3 times. Normally, Luffy wins on round 3. Crocodile, round 3. Doflamingo, round 3. Katakuri in the Mirror World, round 3. But Kaido actually gets the W on round 3. The first time he was knocked out, Luffy, was by the Ragnaroku. And then after that, Luffy starts to do something new, which is Conqueror's Haki Infusion. Second time, he was punted off the island, off screen. And after that, Luffy again starts to do something new, where he starts to communicate telepathically using the voice of all things to Momonosuke, and even Law's own crew can hear Luffy speak underwater. Third time, Thunderbell Bagua, after some CP0 shenanigans. But on the third time, Bing Sake, if you lose your nerve, this breath could be your last. Inside your heart, isn't it getting a little tight in there? Fly to the light, the morning sun will rise. After the third defeat, and Brook stationed in the order as number 3, Luffy awakens. 3 Kaido KO since the rooftop, and 3 brand new things that Luffy has shown as a result. On the third attempt, he actually dies, and in the lineup for the opening, Brook is also a pseudo dead man. The man did die and came back using the powers of the Yomi Yomi no Mi, and Luffy has come back potentially with the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or whatever the true ability of the Gomu Gomu no Mi really is. So look, again, I'm gonna say it for like one last time. This could all be hot air. It's kind of weird. Doesn't have any real substance or value. I'm not too sure. The main argument against all this stuff being the fact that this is Toei Animation who are doing this content, not necessarily Oda. The anime is ultimately just an adaptation of the manga, which for the most part I do agree with, obviously. However, in Wano Country, things have been pretty different, where the anime at times has actually spoiled the manga with much greater clarification and detail. Furthermore, I believe that folks have also noticed that there are spoilers in the One Piece openings for Wano Country. I think even for the manga, which is very interesting. And then there was info leaked that Toei Animation, they do talk to Oda about various things for clarification reasons. So even though most of the time we rely on the manga and the manga predominantly, there are some rare cases where we can look at the anime over the manga, and we should not completely discount it. And the reason why, ultimately, I decided to start going down this road in the first place was because of the title of the chapter, 1043, which is Let's Face Death Together, which is based on Yamato's words to Momonosuke and the sacrifice everyone has gone through to get to this point to beat Kaido and company. So slavery right now is not an option. We beat Kaido together and we die together if need be, which might mean in the near future, we do get a group fight, Momonosuke and Yamato at least, versus Kaido if we don't immediately get Luffy's awakening, and then we have the fight against Kaido, the final fight. And then we'll to bet here that when Luffy does beat Kaido, it will be with the Dawn. However, I actually lied. Because the title of the chapter in the Viz is Let's Face Death Together. But in the scans, it's titled We Die Together. And I felt that it was a play on the last words of the anime opening 14, which were,
We fight together.